Welcome to Trader TV, your insight into institutional trading. I'm Dan Barnes. Emerging market assets can be very hard for investment managers to access. Kat Furber of Bloomberg is here to discuss more efficient routes into trading into EM. Kat, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Dan.
What would you say is the one headache all buy-side traders face in emerging markets today?
Emerging markets is very, very broad and highly complex, and there's the scale of it, right? It's not just scale, it's also complexity.
Yep.
Despite all of this, it's actually a rapidly growing market for electronic trading and one that's reasonably well evolved.
Okay.
Just to give you a sense of the scale of things on the Bloomberg side, we offer emerging markets electronic trading in 28 local currency markets. And last year, over 300 firms provided liquidity in emerging market bonds.
What are the components a buy-side trader needs on their desk in order to trade effectively?
It's well understood in the market that Bloomberg tools such as AllQ and IMGR are trusted sources of pre-trade information. And this is not only because tools like AllQ and IMGR are fantastic real-time sources of information across so many sources like dealer feeds, runs, message, axes and IB, but also because of the searching and alerting tools that support them. We really understand how valuable these tools are to our customers, and that's why we continue to evolve them all the time. Yeah. So some recent examples would be golden axes, for example, that have recently been added to AllQ and IMGR. Golden axes are indicated separately for the specific reason that they've been integrated and are being contributed programmatically via feed. Okay. This can give you reassurance that you're looking at the most up-to-date information when you're looking at these. Similarly, the trade history icon that we've recently added to IMGR. This trade history icon will show to you and to other members on your desk, whenever you're looking at a bond, to give you an indication of where you have attempted to trade or traded this bond in the last 90 days. You can click on it and evaluate exactly who you asked, how they performed, so that you've got that information at your fingertips. Pre-trade tools are nothing without the data that supports them.
We've seen a lot of volatility in markets over the past 6 months, of course. When market circumstances change, how can investors ensure that they can get access to liquidity in EM?
One option might be to consider a different trading protocol. And this is part of the reason why we've seen such a surge in interest for emerging markets portfolio trading on Bloomberg in the last 18 months. Yep. Portfolio trading is so much more than just month-end rebalancing. The important thing to understand is that when you're trading on a portfolio basis, it's on an all or none basis, meaning that you as the client can agree on a basket of bonds with the dealer, even if some of the liquidity on the individual names within that basket is particularly challenging. And when liquidity is challenging, you may find that your regular papered counterparty universe can't service you in the way that you need them to. This is why we're launching Bloomberg Bridge, a new anonymous all-to-all trading offering. Bloomberg Bridge trades will be intermediated by Goldman Sachs, allowing you as the client to initiate an RFQ via the intermediary to their network of respondents, to solicit quotes from the respondent pool anonymously, allowing you to source liquidity from beyond your regular papered counterparty universe.
How challenging can risk management and hedging be?
Both the barriers to entry to local markets as well as additional components to the trade need to be considered. In terms of barriers to entry, one market to reference would be China. With China, one of the biggest challenges is the barriers to entry. For trading in China, this takes place via an approved access program and platform. Bloomberg, for example, was the first global trading system provider to connect to the China Foreign Exchange Trade System CFETS for both the CIBM Direct and Bond Connect programs. Similarly, there are some other challenges within local markets that we might want to consider where you need more than one transaction. So when you're trading an emerging markets local currency government bond, there's often an FX component or an interest rate swap component to consider. Yes. Some of the time, you might want to trade this as a package, so you might want to negotiate the bond price and the FX rate at the same time, particularly for euro clearable markets. So this is why we've developed a special FX settlement negotiation method. And for certain euro clearable markets, that's used about 50% of the time. So here you're negotiating the bond price and the FX rate simultaneously. In other cases, you might want to negotiate a separate FX spot or an NDF or an interest rate swap trade. And this is where the value of our FX Go platform and our EMIRS offering really come into their own. This is where we can really be with you alongside every element of the trade that you need to do.
So when some of your clients are already established within EM, how can they scale up in those markets using the resources that they've already committed?
There are various different means of introducing efficiency. It doesn't necessarily mean immediate full-blown automation. One of the things that I always recommend to investors as a starting point would be the Bloomberg Sort Best tool. This is a really efficient and highly customizable means of automated broker selection. With Sort Best, what you can do is you can blend the criteria that matter to you to make that determination of how you want your one-click dealer selection to work. Let's say, for example, I always want to include 6 counterparties on a trade, and I want to use a blend of criteria to select those 6 counterparties. So it might be a mixture of the best prices that are available to me pre-trade, as well as AX information and historical performance. With Sort Best, I can create that blend that's unique to me. I can always make edits and make changes once I've done that one-click selection, but you've got that immediate efficiency boost, particularly when it comes to trading lists. That's a real time saver.
Yeah.
One of the trends that we are also observing, though, believe it or not, is a growth in full automation of emerging markets trading.
Okay.
So I mentioned before that emerging markets can be very, very varied, and some pockets are extremely liquid. And with Bloomberg's Rule Builder tool, you can kind of tailor the degree of automation that you wish to apply. You can set criteria to just release trades when the moment is right for them. Or you can choose to even include execution criteria to fully execute the trades if that's what you want. So you can scale up in a very kind of customized fashion that suits you and your exposure.
Is there data there to enable traders to determine the quality of execution that they've had through an automated process?
There is, and particularly in markets like EM, which are very opaque, this data is more valuable than ever. We don't just mark to market the executed level versus the Bloomberg composite prices, but we also measure something that we refer to as slippage, which is the difference between the level that was shown to you at the time of the trade inception versus the level that you actually received when you sent the request for quote. You need to be able to evaluate this on a per counterparty basis in order to really understand what's going on. We also flag whether or not a trade was axed at the time that you inquired, because we understand that you need to be able to evaluate performance on axes completely separately to understand how impactful they are and how much of a difference they're making to your bottom line. We make this data available to all of our clients, both buy and sell side, on a quarterly basis via reports that we generate and also programmatically via feeds that they can ingest.
That's fantastic. Kat, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dan.
I'd like to thank Kat for her insights today and of course you for watching. To catch up on our other shows or to subscribe to our newsletter, go to tradertv.net.